in the 1980s. A lot of this area has been wiped out, and I can see pretty clear over this whole neighborhood now, or what's left of it.
The film took about 5 years. I'm pretty much a crew and a team of one. So in that way, everything takes time.
I've been watching the alley outside my window for a couple years now. The alley runs alongside the house where I stay.
I was inspired to start shooting outside my window where I was living in Midtown, Lower Cass Corridor, Peterborough and Cass.
This is the Lower Corridor, part of the larger Cass Corridor. It was also called Chinatown when the Chinese set up businesses and moved here starting in the 1960s. They ran along Cass Street in the center of the Lower Corridor. But Chinatown didn't last here. This area, it's had the reputation for being one of the roughest places in the city.
Last Days of Chinatown covers the history of the southern part of Detroit's Midtown, the Lower Cass Corridor, just north of downtown, from the 1800s up to the very recent arrival of the Little Caesars hockey arena.
In 1970, there were no blacks that lived in this neighborhood that you know to be the Cass Corridor.
Late 50s, early 60s, it don't matter how much money you had. If you was a certain color, you had to stay in a certain neighborhood.
Black people lived on 4th Street, but when you go over to 3rd, 3rd was white. 2nd was white. Cass was white. Yeah. It was like a little neighborhood.
White people from the South came here and brought their music with them. They filled the bars in the Lower Corridor. The area would hit rock bottom. Now, it's coming back.
It almost seems like the whole area is getting torn down and rebuilt all at once. There's a lot of new lofts being made and buildings getting rehabbed, changing into lofts. And there's one really big project coming to the Lower Corridor that hopes to totally remake this place.
The Red Wings Arena, it is going to be built right here along Woodward. There will be 2 new buildings that will house Olympia Development's offices and the Red Wings offices. Along Henry Street, there will be a couple new buildings where people will have retail businesses, entertainment businesses, and right across the street, townhouses will be built so people can live right next to all of the excitement.
The amazing thing about the Ilitch plan, the $650 million complex plan where, you know, they get half of the money to build the arena from taxpayers, is that it happened after years of secrecy, of years of them buying dozens of property and me trying to find the pattern that there is something going on here and them denying it for at least 2 years. And then suddenly, when it is announced, it's announced that it's already been passed by the state legislature, that this is going to happen in this neighborhood.
Now much of what's left of the Lower Cass has been cleared out. Low-income housing is going away, and as McDonald documents in Last Days of Chinatown, people staying in homeless shelters here are leaving too.
Are these the forgotten people? Are they going to just drop a bomb and get rid of them all, or just pick them all up in a helicopter and drop them somewhere else? What's going to happen?
Well, I think it was an effort to move people from the city center, especially around the arena, to someplace else. And where will we put them? Well, as far away from the place we're moving them as possible.
Leroy was eventually moved from the homeless shelter to the far west side of town. Another man from the homeless shelter was moved there too. It took me almost an hour to drive there, and neither of them drive.
For many Detroiters, the corridor is just a memory, including McDonald's father. looking for his past in buildings that are long gone.
And we used to play touch football here, you know. And this was a vacant lot, and we built a clubhouse here.
So this must have been the laundromat here.
Well, it wasn't a laundromat. Nobody knew what a laundromat was. It was a Chinese laundry.
I didn't really come up in the 60s and 70s, so I don't have that same attachment to the term, the Cass Corridor. For me, it's really about displacement and people's lives being affected. I'm a little less tied to words, I suppose, than other people I've met, but I completely respect the argument that it's a rebranding effort to replace Cass Corridor with the word Midtown, and in that there's all sorts of other implications of erasing a culture.
And that's a sticking point for a lot of old timers, that they insist we don't call it Midtown. This is the Cass Corridor.
Cass Corridor, where John Sinclair and rock and roll, Detroit as you know it, and Mitch Ryder, the Detroit Wheels, and all of the other things that they know about in England, they know about it in Germany. Coming in and then you just change the name and you make it Midtown, which is like putting white bread on stale cheese.
Things do change, and the question is why. And I suppose, though, there is a larger question as to the sense it makes. And I wonder how Detroit compares to other cities in the US and other cities around the world. Why are we always building and knocking down and moving and building again? Is that a logical way to live, or is there something to be said for staying put? Maybe there would be a satisfaction. We would have more time to pursue more noble causes if we weren't always trying to progress and build up.